It's the Life After High School podcast.
That's gonna be fun. All right, welcome everybody. Podcast episode number 22. Brother Dan over here, work in process. So let's get into it, man.
What'd you call me?
So Brother Dan. Your name's Dan, right?
Well, I mean,
You referred to me as brother when I walked in.
yeah.
So I only feel it's necessary to.
How's that coffee?
Dude, it's really good.
What? Why do you need to get closer to the mic?
I think everyone listening on audio only needs to know that the coffee's really good because they can't see my
They
expression.
need to know where the coffee came from.
So when we kick it off, then tell us where the coffee comes from. Tell me about the process to getting this coffee from Grimes in Colombia all the way
It's not
down
from Colombia.
to
It's
into my
from
mouth.
Mocha, Yemen.
Overseas.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Came
I
from overseas.
recently started roasting my own coffee beans. So the cup you are drinking, the only part of that process that I did not do was like grow them and pick them and get them here. Other than that, just put it in an air popper. You know those old school like
Yeah.
popcorn makers. That's it. 5-minute roast. Good to go. That one's a little bit dark, but I mean,
Yeah.
if you like dark roast, it's good. It's not burnt or anything, so.
No, that's pretty good. Remind me after to get the coffee Grimes from. Are they still on? Yeah, sweet. Okay,
Right there.
nice.
That's it.
So can you tell us what your process was from high school, graduating, to where your timeline kind of took us to right now, and how I fit into the mix? We can add that one
Of course.
as well.
You know, don't be too self-centered. It's all about you, isn't it? So,
It's gonna be fun.
so I am from Ottawa. I'm from south of Ottawa. For probably like not quite half now. Where I grew up in Greeley was not actually part of the city of Ottawa. So we were a bit on the outskirts. Now it's all amalgamated and like connected and whatnot. And always an athlete, always into sports, traditional sports. I never played hockey though. Never played hockey.
Weird.
Not once. The
You
first
really
time I
didn't
ever
do
played hockey on ice, I grew up playing road hockey, but the first time I ever even played shinny was in university.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah. Which, okay, I mean, we're at university now. So my middle brother, I have two older brothers. My middle brother went to Laurentian for phys ed, sport and physical health education. And him and I were very similar in terms of our interests and whatnot. He vouched for the program. So I basically followed him there, not knowing at all what I wanted that to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
The program was built to make teachers. I kind of never really wanted to be a teacher. So I just went into it because I like sports. I like anatomy and exercise and everything movement. So I did that, and then due to the pressures of that program, I kind of like during the school year I was working for the Y, coaching kids like soccer and basketball and stuff like that. I took over a squash program, a whole bunch of stuff, and then from there, just because of the pressures, because the program was built to make teachers, I was like, shit, okay, I might as well like go to teachers college.
Yep.
So I moved back to Ottawa. All right, go to teachers college at Ottawa U. Right. It was only going to be a 1-year program. After about 2 weeks, I got fed up with it and dropped out. Which was one of the harder decisions of my life. But I realized basically it came down to I never wanted to be a teacher in the first place. A lot of people will tell me like, you know, it was only 1 year, why didn't you just push through it? Then you'd have 2 degrees, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but if I'm not actually going to use it in the like education system,
Right.
then why am I getting this? Why am I spending the money?
Wasting the time.
I'm already a teacher,
Right.
just not in a school. So
True.
like, where am I going to learn my style of teaching if I'm not going to go into a classroom, right? So then I dropped out, basically became a lowlife for about 8 months, moved to Barrie to work for the Y,
Okay.
because at this point, in my opinion, the Y was still a good spot on my resume and all that stuff. So I went to Barrie, became the assistant director of day camping for 8 day campsites all over Simcoe, Muskoka.
Nice.
Had a horrendous summer there. Horrendous, absolutely.
We'll get into that.
Absolutely
I want to hear about this.
brutal.
When you say horrendous, fucking big words.
It was basically, I turned into a counselor instead of being a director. I basically turned into a counselor on the road. So I was driving anywhere from Innisfil all the way up to Parry Sound on a daily basis, just to like cover lunches and stuff.
What the?
Because my boss essentially lost, and this is not just her fault. I've learned a lot of lessons from this, but essentially she didn't trust me, and she gave up on me very early, and I didn't have the capacity to like turn that around myself at that point. At the same time, I'm in like a long distance relationship at this point. I'm still kind of confused. It's a 4-month contract. It's like, what am I doing with my life? Blah, 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 blah. And then I took over from there, I took over the squash program at YMCA Sudbury again. So I went back to Sudbury. Oh, Sudbury. It's your hometown. I'll try not to cut it up too much.
Dude, do it. Everybody does it.
I don't blame them. So I went back there and took over that program. Like went through the process with that. Tried to work it out. It wasn't really working because of the vision of the YMCA and all that stuff. At that point, they didn't really want to be a squash club. They wanted to be their YMCA health club, whatever. So then after that, I left there finally. I went into a little bit of personal training with that too, but realized that I hated personal training in that way as we're in this facility. I hated putting people on machines and not getting anything out of it. So then I started working at Timberwolf Golf Course, still my favorite job of all time.
Wow.
And after that, some stuff went down in my personal life. Had no reason to stay in Sudbury anymore. Came back to Ottawa. Went back to the Y in Ottawa. It was an easy job for me to get.
Sure.
Totally transitioned from the instructor to the membership side of things, which I liked for a little bit, more than I expected to. And because I like talking, and
it's true.
That's where I met you.
Yeah, good times.
That's where I met you. You were a lifeguard. Were you there the whole time I was there?
I don't think so. I left the summer you left. Like I left for summer vacation.
Yeah.
Or school this semester ended, and then when I came back, you had left, and I had never.
Right.
I'll be honest with you guys and you. I was pretty disappointed. I was like, Elise left, you left. There's no more Ryan, and there's no more Mel, and those 4 people, like the 2 of you, TJ was there as well, but I didn't work with him as much. But you and Elise, and then Mel and Ryan, I was like, oh, 4 of you gone? This is way too much to deal with.
Job satisfaction.
Yeah. No,
You gotta surround yourself with the right people, right?
yeah.
So like whenever, do you remember Sheldon?
Yeah.
Okay, so whenever Sheldon left, I was just like, I don't know how I'm gonna keep going. Cause like that's how we got through our day.
Right.
Cause it was like, it was a pretty rough setup there. Like it wasn't the healthiest work environment. Let's put it that way.
Yeah. Safe way to put it.
So safe way to put it, safe word. Inside joke there, team. So yeah.
Please continue.
So I ended up getting full time there, blah blah blah. I was coaching squash at the OAC, the Ottawa Athletic Club. Just like part time, just more for a little bit of extra money and just something fun to do, whatever. And then when I came back here from Sudbury, I wanted to find a gym that allowed me to incorporate my own like mobility and like prehab type training with the way that I wanted to exercise due to a good friend of mine in Sudbury, which we can get into in a bit if you want. So I found this place, didn't realize it was group training, stuff like that, but they seemed to be on the right, like on the same wavelength. So I'm like, okay, I'll just like join for a little bit. It was expensive, but I'm like, oh, I'll make it work, whatever. Then they asked me to coach, and then they're like, you're smart. I'm like,
nice,
sort of. so yeah, I mean, that's how we got here. We're sitting in a medical office of my boss, Dr. Christopher Rayner. Shout out, Stable Knees on Instagram.
Stable Knees. Solid.
He's an ortho, yeah. So that's it, man. That's like the rundown, anyways. Missing a lot of details in there, but it's up to you how much you want to know.
What was that word you used to describe that summer? Horrendous?
Horrendous, yeah.
Horrendous. Let's backpedal to there.
Yeah. So,
get a minutia of that.
So I went into that job thinking, sweet, I'm going into a bigger organization, more opportunity, etc. Right? Like that's the thing, is that like whenever you're fresh out of school, in my opinion, a lot of people are looking for those big opportunities. And whenever you graduate a degree or something like that, you kind of like, and this is not to like take it away, but you kind of come out of school, and I believe I heard your last podcast, I listened to your last podcast, I did my own research, bro, with, I forget the dude's name from Inspire.
Pat.
Yeah, Pat.
From Inspire.
Talking about coming out of school thinking he knows everything.
Yeah.
Well, I'm coming out thinking, okay, I got this $40,000 piece of paper, like,
same thing,
this is going to open up doors for me, blah, 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 go to a bigger YMCA, more programs, more opportunity, maybe some more money, blah, blah, blah. And then I get there, and it was just like a whole bunch of kind of like corporate bullshit, and it was just a bunch of people putting on faces being like, look, I work for the Y, I'm a good person, when really behind closed doors it was like, no, like, this is like all business, people treated each other like crap, blah, blah,
because
blah.
you're making less money than you should, you think that you're doing something good.
Right, so that's kind of the way it was, and like my boss, you know, to her credit, she tried to take me out for a beer one night and talk things through and whatnot. She told me that, I was told that she didn't think that I was ever mentored enough at YMCA Sudbury. So she took shots at Sudbury when at that time we had like the number 3 day camp rating based on the parent surveys in like the country or something.
That's the one that matters.
Yeah. So it's like, wait a second, you're telling me that the like 5 years I spent there didn't teach me enough about this job when we destroyed you guys in the survey? Like that doesn't make sense, you know? And I'm not in touch with this boss anymore. Right. I'm still in touch with the ones who mentored me at Sudbury. Talk to them all the time. It's like, if I have a question about like work or whatever, like the amount of times I messaged my old boss at Sudbury, when I worked at Carlingwood in Ottawa, that's in Ottawa, was like through the roof. It's just like, how do I deal with this? Because she was management. She knew kind of like the corporate way of YMCA and like why decisions might happen, blah 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 blah. So she was my go-to for like a resource.
So you had like a tab open on your computer and you just message her over?
Yeah, basically.
Pretty much.
It was just like save me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, I ended up just driving around friggin' Simcoe Muskoka for an entire summer. Like I paid really good mileage.
Yeah, I bet.
But you know, like my body took a toll. Like I was sitting in a car all the time, get out for half an hour, cover a couple lunches, blah blah blah. Like I didn't learn anything at all that summer.
Right, you were just doing
during the summer. I didn't learn anything. Looking back at it, I got lessons I've taken from that.
Right, it was one of those things that the experience itself during the experience wasn't as beneficial as looking back on it after. Like you need that. Exactly. You need to take that time to reflect on it to learn something from it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, and I didn't really look at it that way until I came back here. Right. So that was another like 4 years later. During those 4 years after I left Simcoe Muskoka, it was like that was just a shit experience. After I got back here, it was kind of like, okay, oh yeah, I run into a situation. It's like, oh yeah, I kind of dealt with that at Simcoe.
Right.
How does that relate? Okay, what can I do? What did I do then? What can I do differently this time?
Mm-hmm.
And you just gotta kind of like break it down like that, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you foresee your career goals now versus when you were younger and you first graduated university? How have they changed at all?
Right.
How's your mind kind of shift?
So, I'm actually a learner now. I'm a student again, basically, even though I'm not in school. So here's the thing about school, and I've said this for a long time. Most people go through school, and whenever they're fresh out of high school, because they basically have no life experience, right? Like, we're not even fully developed until we're like 25 on average.
Yeah.
Right? Prefrontal cortex, all that stuff, rational thinking. Instead, we're just like stupid meatheads, right? So.
Oh, yes.
So, basically, I went through school like a lot of people, and whether people want to admit this or not, I don't know, that's up to them. I studied my ass off. You can ask my roommates. Locked myself in my room, study.
Yeah.
I studied to pass. I didn't study to learn. And that's the biggest difference, right? So every single situation I go into now, whether it's here or taking courses through here at Human 2.0, did we even say where we are?
I don't think so.
Okay,
we'll get in. I want to get into the whole Human 2.0 after. Like we'll get to where
every situation here is a learning opportunity, right? Like, I'm gonna go home after this and I'm gonna like basically analyze the shit out of what we talked about today. 100%. That's what's gonna happen. I view things as a learning opportunity, whether it's a simple conversation with like the cashier at the grocery store, or whether it's, you know, I was a presenter at Activate with Jethro, the physio.
Sick.
Or whether I'm in a course myself, learning, like I just took a MACE course here, which is a bit of a different style of course, but like everything, what can I get, even if the course that you take is like garbage. So in fitness, these are like weekend workshops and all that stuff are kind of like all the trend right now. And I have my own opinions on them, but basically, even if it's a shit course, you can still learn something. Right. Even if all you learn is, okay, I'm not going to take that course again.
Right.
Now you've checked it off. It's like in this pile over here. Mm-hmm. And maybe you dabble into that pile again. Maybe it stays over there because it was garbage, whatever it is, right? This course last weekend wasn't garbage, just so you know. Right. Shout out to Mr. Mason, man. He's great. He's great. So yeah, in terms of my goals, I mean, this kind of ties into human, but I've taken a whole new approach on fitness. I'm on record saying I hate the fitness industry.
On record again.
On record again. I don't like the standard like commercialized fitness industry. Yeah. I'm more about movement, more about like overall general health, rather than you know, sport specific like training programs in the sense of like specific goals. I can do that and I'm interested in certain things, but it's just like realistically, how do you incorporate more movement into your day? So to backtrack to your question, how have my goals changed? Going through school, we're reading all the research about like, oh yeah, there's a study done at, you know, UCLA with their football team, blah, 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 blah. So it's just like, all you hear about is just like that, like poster on your wall. It's like, this is who I train. And I'm guilty of it still, right? I train the tactical paramedics. Just like,
believe me, I've ever been there.
I gotta, you know, post and be like, look at who I train, blah, 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 right?
Super.
But that's just the world we live in. But like, that's kind of like where in the education system, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna work with like, everyone's goal is like, I want to work with professional athletes. I want to, you know, be known as the guy working with those professional athletes. Not a lot of people admit that, in my opinion, but you want to work with the people that make you look good, right? We're all multi-motivational, multi-dimensional.
Yeah.
right? So it's just like, what are you trying to get out of it? If you're only trying to get that like name on your resume,
Mm-hmm.
you're not getting anything out of it, right?
Right.
You know, I learn more from the general public in this facility than I do from a professional athlete, and I've trained professional athletes, right?
Oh.
So it's just kind of like, what, like, you got to go into it with the right mindset.
Right.
What is your goal going into it? In school, it was, okay, I'm going to work with the best.
Right.
And then I'm like, oh wait, I don't want to work with the best. I want to work with the genre that I want to work with,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is like my interest.
Okay. Which would you not say though? For some people, they want to work with that genre being the best, like the elite of the elite.
Could be, yeah. If you're willing to put in the work and you don't mind dealing with a lot of like kind of bullshit along the way in terms of
corporate.
There's exactly right. There's a lot of headaches that go into working with like professional sports teams, professional athletes, and all that stuff. And then at the same time, there's a lot of like ego things that can happen. Not all of them,
Mm-hmm.
but it's just like, you know, whenever they throw it back in your face that, you know, they're the athlete, so they're going to call the shots. It's like, well, I'm the one you're paying, so who's calling the shot? It's just a bit like, how do you build that relationship? So if you can't build a relationship with your client, whether they're a professional athlete or whether they're, you know, just like a general member of the public,
Mm-hmm.
then the program's not going to work.
Right. Makes
It's
sense.
just not, right?
Right.
I think I heard your buddy Pat there talking about that too, building relationships with people.
Yeah, and that's something that, man, nice. I love that. That's sweet. I
Smart guy?
Yeah, he is. He really is. And I think what I've noticed specifically, and referring back to their gym, and I know you'll attest to this from what I believe you're saying from here at Human 2.0. It'll be the first of many shoutouts. Yeah, so I feel with that, their focus as well is building long-term clients, and the only way you can do that is to build a solid relationship with them, right?
Yeah.
I believe that's the same thing here. But do you find any challenges when you do group classes? Because you said there's no, correct me if I'm wrong on this, you said there's no one-on-one, there's more...
There is
Okay.
one-on-one, it's just not our focus.
Right.
So I actually only do like a handful of PTs from time to time. They're actually more of one-offs.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm not in the game of I don't really, I can do it and sometimes it's fun, but my interest isn't in just making workouts and making people sweat.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to choose my own clients just as much as they choose me. So it's like,
Okay.
if I'm not going to work with, if somebody's going to come and ask me to train them, and all they want is just for me to like, you know, make them sweat, put them through a hard workout. They don't want to think while they're working out, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
Well, if you don't want to think while you're working out, you're not going to be doing it. You're not going to be working out.
Right.
You're just going to be going through the motions. So that's, in my opinion, this is a bold statement, and you know, some people don't like me saying this, but like, that's a waste of my time. If you're not going to put it, because I can't do the workout for you. I can't do the exercise for you.
Yeah, you can't.
This is up to you, and a lot of trainers, and I've been told by other trainers that this is.
You can see the passion. You're like, let's go.
We're gonna need it. Now, I've been told that it
Yeah.
comes off as lazy. It's like, well, you're just putting the onus on the student, and like that's just like, you know, it's your job to motivate them and blah blah. It's like, well, yeah, it's my job to facilitate that, but it's not my job to do the things.
Right.
I can't do the things for you.
Right. You're the co-pilot of the workout.
Yeah. So like, unless you're gonna do it yourself
Mm-hmm.
and be aware of everything yourself and why you're doing it.
Why you're doing it is the key.
I'm not why you're doing it.
No.
If you don't know your why, then take a break, figure that out first, and then do
And
it.
if you're why you're doing it, you should be the one lifting,
Yeah.
not them.
Right.
Interesting.
So like, I don't want to, and it's a blunt way of saying it again, but I don't want to waste my time with somebody, because
It's an honest way of saying it.
listen, nothing against other trainers. There are trainers out there that enjoy doing that, and there's plenty of trainers out there at other gyms that will work with you if you just want to, you know, get a good sweat on and all that stuff. go see them.
Yeah.
They're qualified. They can help you with that.
Or save a lot more money, in my opinion, and go to a sauna. I could sit still and still sweat there.
Yeah, that's
So-
valid. That's valid. Heat shock proteins.
Heat shock protein. I love those, man.
You make it sound like it's something you eat.
Dude.
It's not something you eat.
No, but it goes in ya. It feels fucking good.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what we were saying. I kind of go on tangents, but
Yeah, and how do we segue back in?
in terms of like, you know, my previous goals, it was like, oh yeah, I want to work with athletes.
Mhm.
Like I remember one specific project. It was like, you know, who wants this great opportunity to work with this Paralympic athlete and design a program because he's training for like Team Canada, blah blah blah. It's just like, oh, that's sick. But realistically, looking back, it's just like, that's sick because it's going to make me look great. Well, that's the wrong attitude to go into it with,
Right.
right? Like that shouldn't be your sole purpose. You need a little bit of that, but that shouldn't be the reason, right?
Right. That should be the intention
Yeah.
to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Can you elaborate more on what you were talking about in terms of what the fitness industry, the standard is to you? Because I can see the passion.
That's a
like,
dangerous question. So you want to know my opinions on the fitness industry?
Yeah.
Shallow. I think fitness is kind of made up. So let's put it this way.
Let's get into it.
Movement is greater than exercise.
Okay.
Exercise is like, if this is exercise, this entire table is movement. Right? So like
Interesting.
if this is what you think is keeping you healthy,
Yeah.
what about the other? And this is a blanket statement that so many people say. You'll see memes on it all the time. It's just like, your 1 hour of exercise a day, what are you doing for the other 23 hours? Well, it's
Good
true.
point. Yeah.
What are you doing? So this is your 1 hour and this is your 23.
Right.
And if you've got like, you know, arguments with your boss over there, missing deadlines over there, kids that you got to pick up over here, blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah. It's like, how beneficial is this 1 hour?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you got to like, and listen, families and all that stuff, like things are going to happen in life, but this is how we view fitness now, is like just the workouts, getting the sweat. It's all about image and all that stuff, when realistically, like, people aren't necessarily happier whenever they're exercising to exercise.
Because they're doing it for exercise.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah.
Yeah, they're not doing it for like overall health reasons, or they're doing, or even worse, they're doing it because they feel like they have to. Well, go do something else that moves your body.
Right.
You don't need to go and sit on a machine.
Yeah, you don't need to go to the gym and lift
No,
weights.
go for a walk barefoot outside. Tell me how you feel.
Barefoot?
Yeah,
Why barefoot? What makes you-
awareness.
Awareness.
Yeah, so
Where
anytime.
you would go outside right now.
100%. You want to go?
Yeah,
Pause the camera.
Yeah, we'll
Go
take
for
a walk.
No, so like,
we'll go after. Take a lap around the building.
yeah,
We'll
just
document it.
watch for a little bit of glass next
Yeah.
door, but that's okay.
We'll walk the other way around.
No, but like that's the thing, is that like, what are, and the other thing, the other issue that I have with fitness, and I'm well aware that I am in fitness. Like,
Right.
I'm trashing my industry.
100%.
That is fine. I'm allowed to do it because I'm in it,
I'm in the industry.
right? But exactly what I'm doing right now is also the problem, is that like, it's just a war. It's always a war. It's like, who's better than who? It's like, why can't we just work together?
Right.
Like, why? I tried to set up a meeting with another trainer. Technically, this person is a practitioner in another field. I'm not going to go into any more details, so
Right.
just in case they happen to hear this or whatever. And I was basically shut down without actually being shut down. It was
Okay.
just like, I kind of got like the quiet treatment, and so it's like, because he didn't want me to take his information and use it for my gain. It's just like, well, we're all in this together. Like, we should be working
Are
together.
we not all trying to make people
No,
better?
but not, like,
Yeah.
like, you're gonna see this. If I go to another gym and I'm talking to a trainer, it's like everybody's always trying to one up each other.
Right.
It's like, I don't care what you do, whatever. You
Yeah.
do you, I'll do me. That's fine. If you want to poke my brain, sure, let me poke yours too. Right? Which is kind of what Human 2.0 is all about. It's like I work with a surgeon, I work with a physio, I work with a massage, I work with other trainers.
Mhm.
Right? So
Yeah.
it's like that. It's like all encompassing. But at the same time, my other beef. So what are my three beefs? Let's narrow it down to three beefs. All right. Little carnivore diet style here. Eat your vegetables. So what did I say? It's shallow,
Okay.
right?
Right.
People are too worried about their Instagram photos, which again, I'm just as guilty. We live in this world. What did
Number
I say?
one.
Shallow.
Shallow.
Yep. Number two, exercises inferior to movement,
Okay.
right? And did I say my third one already?
No. You mentioned a bit about in terms of shallow people with their Instagram and just wanting to.
Yeah, that was number one.
Yeah.
We already got past that.
And now number two, inferior to movement.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank on my third one, but it's not like they're not like I'm just kind of making a list
Yeah.
as we go here. This isn't. No, you all right?
Yeah.
Is the camera even recording?
Yeah, I can't record.
Okay. What are you doing?
I'm trying to set this back.
You need a young Jamie.
I do, dude. Don't even get me fucking started. All right, we're good. We're good.
G to G.
Exterior there's exercises inferior to movement. We have shallow and third.
Oh, and people trainers not staying in their lane.
Elaborate.
You know what I mean by that? So
I think I have an idea, but
if you're a physio, you're not a chiropractor. If you're a massage therapist, you're not a nutritionist, right? Maybe you have both.
Right, if you do,
that's
then
fine.
that
That's
case,
great.
yeah.
The problem, and I was just talking to this guy, Ottawa. I forget his tag or whatever. His name's Etienne Asselin or whatever. Great guy, super smart. Kind of takes a different approach to exercise. Works with pain and whatnot. And he was talking about how we were talking about this because I went and just had a conversation with him. I've worked with him a little bit in like his workshops and stuff, but I was just like, you know what, man, colleague to colleague, let's just meet up, have a coffee, and talk. So that's what we did, just like we're doing right now. So we were talking about that scope, and he's just like the scope of personal training and fitness professionals is so broad, which is its biggest strength, but at the same time, it's kind of its biggest weakness because there's like no end to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we're supposed to know a little bit about nutrition. We're supposed to know a little bit about exercise or like
Right.
exercise technique and like anatomy and physiology and illnesses and blah 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 blah.
Right.
So it's just like now it's like everybody's trying to be these experts in these different fields when realistically they're not experts in all those fields. It's like if you're a trainer, you should be an expert in like exercise.
Yep.
With some like general knowledge and other things,
Mm-hmm.
but don't try and be like, don't say that you're like like you're not a massage therapist just because you took a weekend course showing you some techniques on like fascial
Right.
release.
It means you can point them in the right direction
Exactly.
to an expert.
So not enough trainers, in my opinion, are good at staying in their lane and outsourcing when they need to.
Right.
From my experience, it comes down to kind of ego. It's just
Yeah.
like they don't want to lose a client or they don't want to look like they don't. I have no problem saying I don't know. No
Yeah.
problem. And chances are I'm going to go home and research the hell out of it and find an answer or at least find where to send you.
Right.
Right? And that's new to me. Like that's new within the last few years. I never used to do that. This is all just because I've gotten older and a little tiny bit wiser. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Not much.
Enough to count.
Yeah. Well, depends on how high you can count.
High enough.
Yeah.
High
Math isn't my strong suit. That's my oldest brother.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you got him
I learned
full
how to
on.
bounce a ball in university.
And you can show people. how to
Shout out to Laurentian.
I learned how to bounce a ball in university.
Yeah, so that's like, to summarize it, and that's the thing, is that, like, don't get me wrong, I've met some amazing trainers through courses, and now I've been asked to, like, present at different conferences and stuff like that, which is weird in itself. Just because I never thought I would be doing that.
Yeah.
But it's just kind of like, you just got to know your place, and that comes from knowing what your interest is, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know what you're interested in, you're going to try and do too much most of the time.
Interesting.
Like, stay in your lane,
Interesting.
you know?
And that can be applicable to a lot of things, like people doing like 47 different hobbies,
Yeah.
instead of focusing on like two.
There's been this big resurgence in becoming like a generalist.
Yeah, like jack of all trades,
Yeah.
master of none.
Yeah, it's like, okay, but at least know that you're a generalist and you're not an expert in all these fields.
Yeah.
Like, I just started roasting my own coffee, right? I'm not a coffee roaster.
Well, okay, let's backpedal. For what they didn't see, Dan might as well be a expert on coffee.
No, bro.
Based off what?
No.
How, okay, with this debate with coffee then, with Tim Hortons. you
Tastes like
said-
battery acid and sadness.
Okay.
Sheldon said that.
Okay, all right. You're not an expert on coffee, but you just started roasting your own.
Yeah. It's an interest of mine.
Right.
Doesn't mean I'm an expert.
It's just something you're interested in.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Like, I'm not, it's like if I gave you a massage right now, am I a massage therapist?
No.
No. Right?
Easy enough.
Kind of get it.
Yeah, it's an easy way to.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it is.
And it's very easy for me to say that to somebody and them agree with me in the time, and then like 2 days later I see them being a hypocrite.
All right.
Right? But you just gotta know. You
Yeah.
just gotta know what you don't know.
And if you don't know, now you know.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
So
good.
that's kind of the way I see it.
Sure.
And I tag that along with everything, not just
Mhm.
exercise. Not just exercise.
Just like knowing what you don't know, and then also knowing certain things. Like with hobbies, I find specifically there's a lot of people who do a lot of different things. Like you said, they're trying to get that knowledge. Where I like to think of it as I'm not an expert at playing guitar, but I can play it. It's an interest of mine. I want to learn how to play it. I want to learn different chords, strumming patterns, stuff like that, and I want to be able to play it well.
Yeah.
With any guitar, I want to know about it.
Yeah.
But at no point am I an expert.
Yeah.
I think there may be one or I don't know. How would you define expert on something? 10,000 hours? Or?
Have you ever? Well, I mean, have you ever read the book Flow?
No.
That's surprising because you used to, at least, didn't you do like rock climbing stuff or something like that? Bouldering?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little
Yeah,
bit.
of
Jiu-jitsu, whatever it is.
Yeah, a lot.
So like flow and these are my words. Okay, so just like a little like backtrack for everybody listening or watching. I'm not sitting here with research to back everything I say up.
Right.
These are opinions formulated out of my years of experience being me.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
If we want on certain subjects, I can get the research to back it up.
Mm-hmm.
But like, so book called Flow. I forget the guy's name, the author's name, but it's super popular out there. Talking about that state of flow that gets kind of like tossed around a lot and whatnot. The other way people talk about it is like if you're an athlete, football player or basketball player, like you're in the zone,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because in that moment, nothing else matters,
Right.
right? So that doesn't necessarily mean that you're an expert, though. It just means that your attention is like fully engaged towards this process, whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you're rock climbing, like Alex Honnold,
Yeah.
right? Or whether you're painting, whether you're, you could be doing anything as long as like if in that moment nothing else matters, you're in a state of flow.
Mm-hmm.
This is my definition, or the way that I've read it through this book,
Okay.
which is all like backed up by the research of psychologists and whatnot. Yeah. So to be an expert, yeah, there's the 10,000 hour rule, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't think there is like a hard definition on like expert, because you could have people with all the credentials and they suck.
Right. Like you can't. How do you quantify?
Yeah,
expert?
exactly. So like that's a tough question. I don't necessarily have an answer for that, because I've met some professionals, right? Because that's the other word,
Right.
expert versus professional.
Okay.
But sometimes the experts don't have the credentials to do it professionally.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, some would say that I'm just as good, some would say, I don't necessarily agree with this, but some would say that I'm just as good as like a physiotherapist, or as like a physio that's done the school and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't have the degree to actually practice physio,
Right.
so I'm not a professional.
You don't get paid to
Right,
do physio specifically.
exactly.
Right.
And that's not necessarily my goal either.
Mhm.
So like, an expert could be somebody who's just like proficient, you know? So
Yeah.
actually, a good way to put it, and this is, I'm also like I have very high standards,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, and I'm reading this book right now. It's called TSAC, the Tactical Fitness Manual through
Right.
NSCA. And I'm going to try and get certified through that and whatever. And it talks about your learning objectives, right? And it talks about A and P. So are you aware? So
Okay.
are you at the level of awareness? Or are you at the level of proficiency? So awareness means you got some knowledge, you kind of get the like general outline of it or whatever, and proficiency means like you can teach it, you understand all the ins and outs,
Yeah.
like no questions asked, like you got that subject on lockdown.
Right.
So you can take that into consideration when you're trying to define an expert,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Interesting.
So yeah, that's something, and like that's how I didn't go through school.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't go through school trying to get to that P.
Right.
I went through school trying to memorize, which means I'm really just aware. I'm not.
Excuse me.
Yeah, right. Is it the coffee?
Excuse me, guys. Sorry.
I feel like you're insulting my coffee right now.
No, not even. I was coughing like this last night. I'm sick. It's brutal. Nah.
You all right?
Yeah, it's better now that I got that out. The wavelengths are like shooting all the way up, man. Look at that.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah, right. Being proficient and knowing how to communicate what you know, where versus
Apply it.
Apply it.
How can you apply it?
Okay.
Because it's not, and not every situation involves communicating it.
Right.
You could be a lab tech in a lab by yourself. Like you're not communicating
Yeah.
with another person.
Right.
You don't need to be able to teach it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Interesting.
But then there's like the Einstein quote. I think it was Einstein talking about how like unless you can teach a 5-year-old, then you don't actually understand it yourself.
Right.
Right.
You should be able to simplify it.
Yeah. Which
Communicate
is my specialty.
Right. Is breaking down, simplifying,
Yeah.
whatever you have to teach.
Yeah.
And that's why you're proficient at it. Or it helps you be proficient.
Helps me be a work in process. I'm not gonna say I'm the best coach. No, not a
absolutely
chance.
not.
Not a chance.
Because there's no such thing.
But my specialty is teaching the skills.
Right.
So I'll fully admit I hate programming for like exercise,
Okay.
right? 'Cause we're not even actually even 2.0 yet. But I'm a trainer, basically.
Yeah.
If they haven't got that yet, I'm a trainer. I teach exercise. I teach movement. And I look at it as educating rather than training. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm an educator, in my opinion, but professionally I'm called a trainer. My specialty is teaching people how to do it and critiquing what they're doing.
Based on what you know.
My specialty isn't making a year-long program for you to like peak for your whatever
Right.
sport, right? Jiu-jitsu if it's you,
Yeah.
or like a football player or whatever.
Mhm.
I could probably figure it out,
Mhm.
but that's not necessarily what I do.
Right.
What I do is I teach the specific skills. So you want to learn how to deadlift better? Come see me. You want to learn how to do an actual kettlebell swing? Come see me. You want to learn how to do a Turkish get-up? Come see me. You want to get a full-fledged strength and conditioning program to help you get to the NCAA for football?
Mhm.
Don't come see me.
Fair. There are people
Like
for that.
100%.
Yeah.
There's other people for that, and I can work with those people,
Right.
right?
Right.
But I'm not going to be the one making your program. At
Because
least
you're
not,
going to stay in your lane.
exactly.
Yeah.
At least not right now,
Right.
because that's not what my experience is,
Right.
right?
Interesting. So with that, I think, and I know Joe's gone on record in saying it, that Turkish get up for
Okay.
jiu-jitsu is probably the best exercise.
Wow.
After, if there is a chance, can you teach me
Yes.
how to do a proper Turkish
Yeah.
get up?
I'm
Because
gonna
I've looked at
rip it
videos,
apart.
but I'm excited. And they're all gonna see this if you're down to record it.
Yeah,
And we're gonna,
absolutely.
I want to learn.
I'm
how
gonna
to do
get you to
proper
sign the
Turkish get
waiver
up.
first.
Yeah, okay, good idea.
Touch weights,
100%.
but
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, if we even go to weights, like I know the positioning, I've looked it up, and I'm like, how to? So I'd rather have you instruct it properly so that I can go back and do it when I just need to do accessory stuff at the end of workouts or on days where I'm not training
Well, if
specifically,
you
but
look
still
at-
want to do movements at home.
Yeah, if you
That's
look
good
at
before, but-
the methodology of Strong First, you know that program, that company,
Heard it,
Strong
yeah.
First, Pavel Titsulin or whatever it is.
Yeah, Papa Tatsulin.
It's strength comes first is their methodology, but Simple Sinister is his general program. It's kettlebell swings and Turkish get-ups.
Yeah.
The Swiss Army knives of exercise.
Nice.
Yeah,
Man, that's sick.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the way I view it too.
Right. Nice. With that being said, man, tell us, where are we right now? Let's get into the hat, let's get into the shirt.
The hat, well, the shirt isn't human.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to know, like, about your merch, what you're going on right now.
Well, this
Do
isn't
a bit
human
of, bit, of a,
2.0.
bit of a plug.
You're talking, yeah, but this isn't. This is from
Oh, I know they're completely different,
My
but I
boys
want you to hit them both up.
at JCon Hala, and I forget the other guy's handle. Anyways, his name's Rob. We'll just call him Rob.
Okay.
Our thoughts, your thoughts. He came up with a shirt like this. It says "Work in Process." I'm the one who made the mugs.
Thanks
They
again
do-
for mine.
They do their own show. Jethro, JCon Hala, is the physio here at Human 2.0. So we're at Human 2.0.
Mhm.
This is where we build better humans. I hate plugs. It's so stupid. It's so cheesy. It's like,
Oh, yeah.
if you want to come here,
Tell
come
us
here.
more about it,
You
yeah.
don't want to come here, then
Don't
don't
come here, yeah.
But my boss won't like me saying that. That's good.
Cut that out if you want, we'll talk about it
They
later.
kind of they know how I work though. And they decide.
Yeah, they'll be like, it's Dan.
yeah. That thought of the day the other day. Did you see that?
I think it,
Dan is most likely disappointed in you right now.
I did see that.
So basically, let's talk about what we do here. So the owner of this place is Dr. Christopher Rayner at Stable Knees on Instagram, I believe, and he's an orthopedic surgeon. Okay, so his vision for this was to have a facility based on movement rehab, active rehab for the patients that he operates on and whatnot. I'm probably butchering this right now, he's probably still mad at me. But, and then to have the physio and the trainers, the movement experts or whatever, all working hand in hand. So it's this continuum of care, right? So whenever you get, I said this to you before the podcast, but whenever you get me, you get the doctor.
Yep.
Whenever you get the doctor, you also get me. I've even sat in on a few like assessments with
Right.
Jethro, the physio,
Consultations,
whatever, to like break things down. Because again, I'm really good at teaching the exercises. They're really good at figuring out what's wrong.
Right.
So their specialty isn't to teach the exercises. Can they do it pretty good? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think they can do it better than most. But that's not what they focus on.
Right.
Right? That's not what they're going to go home and research.
Mhm.
They're going to go home and research the injuries and whatnot. I'm going to go home and research, okay, this injury, how do we play with that from a rehab perspective, injury prevention. So everything that we do is injury prevention. So we do group classes. We do group classes mostly. We do offer a little bit of PT. And we offer physio, massage, and orthopedic surgeon, Dr. Chris Rayner, and Dr. Anita Posgay is the sports med doctor in the other office. So that's the whole idea, is that whenever you're injured, you can't just hook yourself up to a machine and hope you get better. Yeah, machines have their place and all that stuff, but like, how can you control yourself to rehab yourself? Movement is medicine is the hashtag or whatever, right? So it's like, and like from the most simple standpoint, it's like, okay, so you got first of all, swelling is a good thing, but whenever you have an injury, how do nutrients get passed along your body, right? Through your blood, for the most part, right? So if you're not moving, your blood's not moving to that area. So generally, so we need to get, like, you got a knee injury, right, or elbow. I'll do elbow just for the camera, right? So if you stop moving it like this, which sometimes you have to because of surgery, right, or whatever, like, the best thing you can do is start moving that joint. Maybe it's just like this, right? But that's going to promote the healing process. That's going to bring all the nutrients, right? As opposed to just like wrapping it up and immobilizing it, right? The exact opposite of what we want to do, right? And like, this isn't going to help you get stronger for whatever your thing is, whether it's a sport or whether it's just general life. Right. So we focus on mobility, and the way that we kind of define it, which we didn't make this up, it's just kind of a new age definition of mobility, but it's strength through range of motion.
Okay.
Right.
Nice.
So just because yoga, I'm on record having issues with yoga. I would go to yoga if I could afford it. Let's just put that out there.
Okay.
I would go to yoga if I could afford it. But there's a lot of flaws in yoga, and there's a lot of flaws in bodybuilding, and there's a lot of flaws in powerlifting, which I'm huge into powerlifting. You can't tell, but that's okay. There's flaws in everything. The thing with yoga is it's really good at getting you flexible. It's really good for the mind, all that stuff, if you're into it and whatnot. But one thing that I have seen, and it's changing a little bit, but that's a whole other debate on whether it's still yoga or whether it's something else, right? Cultural appropriation, all that stuff.
Sensitive subject.
But, is that strength piece. So just because you can do the splits doesn't mean you're strong there. So take an arm bar. Have you ever done a kettlebell arm bar? So Jethro does jiu-jitsu as well, the physio here, right? So an arm bar is whatever you roll over with a kettlebell like this.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I put your arm here, are you strong enough to not get injured? Are you strong enough to come out of that position, or at least not get injured there?
Right.
Right? Because if you've never spent time here in a loaded position, which takes time to work up to, you don't just go and pick up a 50-pound kettlebell and hope for the best.
Let it, yeah.
Right? It's progression, right? Okay. Principle of overload, all that, right? But unless you've spent time there and been aware there, like teaching your body to be aware there, then you're risking injury. Right. Same with the splits. My example is always splits. And my other way of saying it is, if you do something on purpose, it's okay. If you do something by accident, it's not okay. So if you go into the splits on purpose, it's okay.
Yeah.
If you go into the splits by accident, it's probably not okay.
No bueno.
Right?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Right.
So you can take that in any way, right? In any position or whatever. So can you put yourself in that position yourself, that joint in that position yourself, and can you control it there? So we use a lot of principles from the FRC program, functional range conditioning, functional anatomy seminars, and a couple other names for it, I think, or whatever, Dr. Andrea Spina. So it's like, it's not just your standard like PNF, like contract, relax, tricking your body to get into further range. Yeah, you can trick your body to go into further range, but you're not strong there.
Right.
You're just hanging out there, being passive. Passive doesn't prevent injuries, just like cardio doesn't prevent injuries. Strength prevents injuries, right?
Strength in positions prevents injury.
Yeah, right?
Okay. Interesting.
So we should be able to move, take a simple like shoulder car, right? We should be able to move our shoulder joint in as big of a range as we can on purpose.
Right.
Because if somebody else does it for me and I'm not ready for it, it's no bueno, right?
Okay.
So that's kind of like, in a nutshell, our philosophy here in terms of how we train people. And if you get physio from Jethro, or you get exercises from Dr. Chris or Anita, chances are it's going to be like, yeah, okay, we're going to move you. You're going to move you. We're not going to move you. Sometimes yes, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Sometimes yes, but as soon as we can, we're going to get you to do it yourself. Right? It's less hand holding.
See,
right? Yeah.
Right.
Imagine if you only ever helped your kid walk by holding their hand. And you never let them to try it themselves. Right?
Yeah, it won't work
They're
out
always going to have that crutch.
well. Right.
Right? So, yeah.
To a certain extent, help is good, but then too much is.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
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 So now, with that being said, one of your clients here that you train the tactical paramedics.
That is it right there. Tactical paramedics. So, basically, to backtrack as to like what they are, because I didn't even know they existed until a couple years ago.
Yeah, I didn't know until I saw your
Yeah.
photo on Instagram. I was like, this looks sick. I was like, is he a paramedic? That's what I first thought. It's like, is he a paramedic now? And
I
I'm like,
mean,
no.
that's part of the story too.
Right.
So,
Let's get into
basically, just a little summary on like how that team came about and whatnot, because they're technically considered like special operations. But they're paramedics. They're not military.
Right.
They look like military because of the uniforms that they wear, but they're not military. They're City of Ottawa paramedics. In 2000 or 99, something like that, there was the OC Transpo shooting. So a shooting on a bus that
2009, you said?
2000, I think 2000 or 1999 or something.
Oh,
like that.
99. That's right.
I can't quite remember. Anyways, and it was a coroner's inquest to get a team set up. At that point, there was only one other team of tactical paramedics in Canada, I believe. I could be butchering this. It's in my manual if you want to read that, because I wrote a manual for them.
Give it a yeah,
So, I don't know what that is. We'll leave it. So anyways, basically they needed people to be able to go into this dangerous situation that were trained in like a combat style, dangerous, high risk situation.
Right. I'm curious. You know they're going to come in 100%.
Can we pause?
Nah, you can just keep rolling. We have a guest coming into the show.
What's up? Jojo? I'm doing a podcast as we speak. I'm being interviewed right now. What's up, Joe? I was like, what the hell is happening right now? Hi, Glenn.
Hi, guys.
This is our dead mother, Joe.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi.
This is a former coworker of mine. He's interviewing you.
Hey,
right
how's it
now.
going?
I was like, what is that noise out here? All right. Well, we're gonna get back to it.
Like not too worried about that.
Are we back in action?
Piece it together. Yeah, you were back in action.
Yeah, my bad. I had to make sure nobody was breaking in. You know,
Sounds about right.
I'm a key holder here at Human 2.0.
Oh, dude.
But it's not like that.
Dude, unreal.
It's not-
Responsibility.
Well, yeah. How do you think we got in here? I didn't break in.
Yeah, that's a good point. You got some expensive equipment there.
A little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were we?
Tactical
Oh yeah.
paramedics
So
manual.
they needed. They decided that they wanted a team that was trained to go into a situation with the police or RCMP or whatever, like a combat situation or a dangerous situation, guns, knives, stuff like that, so that it wasn't just the police medics doing everything they could, because they don't have the full training that a paramedic does.
Right.
And paramedics don't have the full training that a police officer has, right? So it's kind of like a tag team situation.
Yeah.
Basically, the way that it started was a very high up guy in the Ottawa service. Used to be a member here. I used to train with him because I was a member here before I started working here.
Right.
And he was talking about how the TAC guys get PT time on shift. And then we set up a little deal. Started it out just as it was supposed to be like, I think it was like 3 to 6 months or something like that.
Okay.
They seemed to like it to the point of one of the bosses came in and did a workout too. And I showed him what we're all about, mobility stuff and all that. And he's just like, how much to sign a contract? And then we ended up finally signing a contract a few months ago, because everything with the city and government takes a long time. So yeah, I work with these guys who are basically special operations paramedics. They're in full kit. bulletproof vests, all that stuff. They're a little bit more out there in the public. That's why I'm okay talking about this. Because a year ago, 2 years ago, we wouldn't have posted pictures like we did.
Yeah,
right.
Those were sick.
So a lot of that stuff is like just coming out now. But again, it is special ops. They work with some partners, and basically do some pretty badass things. So my goal with them is to work on injury prevention, fix them up, as with paramedics and cops and stuff like that, with the gear they wear and all that stuff, and sitting in the trucks and all that. A lot of injuries, a lot of like muscle aches and injuries and low back problems and stuff like that. So my main goal with them is kind of fixing them, but at the same time the challenge is that they have to always be prepared to go. Right? So I treat them like professional athletes, but they're always in season. There's no off season.
Makes sense.
Right? Even military people kind of sometimes, depending on the situation, have an off season. Right? So there's like your pre-deployment and post-deployment, during deployment, blah, blah, blah. Right? These guys don't have deployments. Their deployment is like, everything's like a little microcycle per day. Right? They never know when they're going to get a call, blah, blah, blah.
Always on call.
Exactly. So that makes it very unique to train them, because, you know, I'm not training them to peak at a certain time. Right. It's all a maintenance thing, but at the same time I'm trying to fix them, which is like the puzzle. That's the puzzle. Because you can't train, it's very hard, sorry, I shouldn't say can't. It's very hard to train for performance while rehabbing injuries. But that's essentially what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
interesting.
Yeah.
It's a tough challenge.
Exactly. Right? So with them, as with a lot of people who come in here, it's not just them, they're not idiots, they're super smart, they're super gung-ho to learn and whatnot, but that's what it's been. It's been 8 months of learning. Okay, you guys don't know how to move your body. Most people don't know how to move their body. Right? So let's reteach you what a ball and socket joint, right? Ball and socket joint in your hip is supposed to be able to do. Because right now it's not doing that. Right? Like if it's going like this and your hip circle looks like this, we got issues.
Yeah, we got to fix that.
Exactly. So that's kind of the goal with that. Yeah, I mean that's my main thing with them. It's a huge learning curve. This is kind of like I was talking about working with athletes, and like in school I wanted to work with athletes. It's like, oh yeah, I want to work with like so-and-so's, like, you know, he's a semi-pro, whatever, like that's badass, it makes me look great, blah, blah, blah. Well, just kind of through the evolution of my like training and jobs and professionalism and all that stuff, like I ended up getting back to kind of working with those elite athletes, right? And it's kind of cool because it kind of fits my mold better now, because now I don't care about how I look. I don't care about having that poster on my wall saying like, I trained that guy. Yeah, I posted it on Instagram because I have to.
It's sick. But I double tapped immediately. I was like,
but I don't care. I don't care whether you think it's sick or not. Right? Like I really don't.
Right. But you know, you're like, all right, people be like, yo.
I care a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't care. Like that's not my goal of that post.
Right. It's to bring awareness.
And the other great thing is, like from a personal standpoint, is just like because of the boundaries of like them and their job, and I can't talk about everything. It's just a natural boundary. I'm not allowed to show it off as much as I would show off like working with a professional CFL player or whatever it is.
Like you can do that to the extent of
exactly
what you want.
So it's just built in. It's like it seems to work really well with me because, you know, I don't really care about being in the public eye. My success comes down to their success, and it's between myself and them. It's not between myself and you. It's not between myself and every other follower on Instagram or Facebook, right? I couldn't care less what they think about it. It's just about the guys and the team that I work with, right? It's
internal success for yourself.
Yeah.
It's not celebrity status as a trainer.
Yeah.
Get it.
Yeah.
Decent.
So it's kind of come full circle in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I learned that it doesn't I don't need to get that celebrity status in whatever I'm doing.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I want to, it's like I used to think about coaching the squash players. It's like I coached some badass squash players that like went to nationals and stuff like that.
Mm.
And it's like, oh yeah, you guys are making me look great. Like it's always on the back of your mind. It's just like, how does that?
Yeah.
You're playing off their success, right? And then I stopped caring about that.
Right.
And now I'm kind of right back there, but without that like pressure of looking great.
Right. And all that is kind of, I feel with that being said, a lot of looking great to other people also is like gratifying to a certain point, not an extreme point where you're like celebritized, like Hollywooding the whole thing, but you come at it with that, if I look good to others, it means that I'm doing a good job. Like when you said, or I can't remember who said it, but somebody said, they came up to me in like a restaurant when I was eating breakfast, they're like, hey man, like I'm watching the podcast, it's going great, and I'm like, that's not my sole purpose of doing it, but when somebody does that, it felt great.
Yeah.
And that appreciation and admiration when people are saying, oh man, it looks good, and you get that self kind of internal feeling, you're like, man, this feels good.
But if they didn't do that, you would still be doing the podcast.
100%. Doesn't matter what people say. Like
exactly.
And that's it. And that's what I believe you're saying when you're posting it. You're not doing it for other people. You're doing like, oh, this is cool. Like if I say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Like I'm doing the podcast, going to Ottawa. I have a couple people lined up. Like it's not because I want people to be like, man, this is so cool what he's doing, right? And you're doing the posts and stuff, and you're dealing with these really cool people on a daily basis.
Yeah.
You're not sharing it to the world to be famous or for money. You're doing it to bring awareness, and it's cool. It's fun. It's fun, man.
That's it.
Like this is fun for me. I got a mug now. You know this is always gonna be on my desk. And we like slowly start like always gonna have this in the podcast every water.
It's a reminder.
It is, man. I love it. It's a gift.
The process never ends.
It never ends, man. I love it. I saw it. I was like, oh, this hits home. This hits home real quick. So
that's kind of like where I'm at. That's my focus. I teach the normal group classes here and whatnot.
Yeah.
But my focus is on building a tactical athlete program, because it's something that's coming along in the research and the strength and conditioning type like community and whatnot. But there's still a lot to be learned about it.
Yep.
And I don't think there's all that much in Canada for it.
Right.
So I created an assessment manual for them. So created a test, wrote a manual, it's all laid out. I can hand that manual to you and you should in theory be able to administer that test. We're going to basically, which was its own challenge because I hate writing more than anything.
Can you tell that you hate writing when you read it?
So I had a better experience reading this than other things because it's step by step. It's like I'm writing procedures rather than writing like a novel or something, or like some kind of catchy post or something like that. Like I don't like writing at all. I hated writing in school. I'm not very good at it. My boss is constantly telling me it's just something you got to practice and blah blah blah, and you're actually a really good writer. Doesn't mean that I don't experience the stress of writing.
It's because you like to read.
Yeah.
Like the opposite is like you're a really good reader. You enjoy reading. It's fun.
So anyways, I wrote this manual, which was its own thing, own learning curve.
Yeah.
And then we just finished doing the first bout of assessments, and I'll evaluate the scores, see where it's at, build a program kind of around that, and we're going to reevaluate quarterly, see where we're at and adjust accordingly, and take it from there and hopefully get some other TAC groups. Right. Police or military or different groups. I'm working on getting some stuff with the rest of the service too, but it's just like it takes time, and it's only been 1 year.
Right.
Good things take time to grow.
Yeah.
Right. So.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Work in process, right?
Work in process.
I love that.
So that's it. That's where I'm at. That's my focus, man. It's kind of cool how it's come full circle. It's like, I had to work up to this point.
Right.
If you asked me, 6-7 years ago, if I'd be doing what I'm doing right now, like, not a chance I would be talking about it. The only reason I'm here right now is because I was introduced from a good friend, Dr. John Diplock in Sudbury. He's a chiropractor, to the idea of rehab, the idea of prehab. So he's just like, you're not going to stop working out, and I'm not going to ask you to stop working out. Just for my shoulder, my collarbone. It's like, so instead, do these exercises before every single workout.
Okay.
Right? So take a physio approach to it, but before your workouts. Prepare your body properly for the movements you're about to do. Right? So that's what led me to here. And now I'm training the TAC guys, and it's badass, and it's great. And it's like, it fits in with what we do here as a facility. So that's,
it's pretty cool. And to be honest, that tactical paramedic is super unique, because you wouldn't think of that, like you said right away. Like, man, a lot of people didn't realize like there wasn't one. There's one in Canada, and so
now there's a
few for
groups.
sure.
There's a few groups now, but at the point of Ottawa being told they need a team, I think there's only one in Canada.
And that shooting put it over the top. Where you're like, okay, we need this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So
what was lacking from that situation that took place in the OC transpo class? Like, where would tactical paramedics fit into that?
So because they're kitted up, helmets and vests and stuff like that, they can go into situations where there's like firearms and stuff.
Okay.
Right.
Are they trained with firearms as well?
They're not trained with I don't.
Oh, right.
I don't know whether they. I don't know whether they like actually, shoot or anything themselves, but they don't carry.
Okay.
Right.
Okay,
So they
nothing there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. They don't carry any weapons of any sort. They're paramedics.
Right.
But they're trained to, like the standard, and I'm making shit up because I really don't actually know. But like, set up the line, one guy behind the other, you got your breacher going through the door on a warrant or whatever. They're trained to like set up in those situations. Tactical situations, exactly. And the reason why this is so cool for me to backtrack it as to like where my focus is as a trainer and stuff is that like the word tactical is associated with military. But like realistically, what like a tactic is, or a tactical perspective, is like a means by which like a strategy is carried out,
executed, and everything.
So you can take that into your daily life.
Right.
So recently, I'm sure you saw the post or whatever, but I presented at the Y Fitness Summit.
Yeah.
Right. Never thought I'd be a presenter at the Y Summit after all my years there. But so they asked me to come and present. Yeah. They see me being, and my boss set up a post saying like it's good to see him get noticed and whatever. It's like, okay, whatever. Yeah, I'm just gonna go and talk and give my perspective. But I called that seminar Tactical Training for Life, because it's just like, are you aware of your intention and aware of every single movement in your strategy of whatever you're doing on your daily basis of movement, right? Whether it's exercise or whether you're, stepping down a stair and you got to be aware of like what you're stepping on or whatever, which goes back to the barefoot walk outside, right? So it's like, where that came from is I'm barefoot all the time. Yeah. We don't train in shoes here.
Yeah, knows that.
Right? So when I was super stressed one day, because I've gone through my own shit, I was like, I needed something. And normally, like, I might go and do a workout, or I might squat or something like that. Squatting's actually the way that it started. But I just like, for some reason, I just like went outside barefoot and I went for like a 500-meter walk. Because
what was the weather like?
It was the summertime.
Okay.
But I just went out barefoot, walked down the pavement, and you're gonna feel because we're not in tune with our bodies anymore because of shoes.
Right.
You're gonna feel every single crack and stone and twig and whatever that you step on.
When we do this after the show.
Yeah. So, do you think you're gonna be thinking about what just pissed you off? Not a chance.
No, I'm
You're
worried about
gonna
the fucking rocks that are on my
every
heel.
single step you're going to be aware of it.
This is incredible. I
Right?
see where this is going, and I'm like, whoa, okay.
So by the time I got back from the walk, I didn't even remember, midway through the walk, I didn't even remember what I was pissed off about.
Interesting.
Right?
Walk
By the
back.
time I got back, I remembered what I was pissed off about, but I was in a calmer state so I could process it rather than react.
Right.
Right?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So that's kind of where that comes in. And again, tactical. This is like there's strategies you can put in place to get whatever you're looking to get out of whatever the situation is.
Mm-hmm.
Again, this is not all exercise. This is not about exercise.
Right.
This is about general like awareness of self. Right? I also have a huge interest in psychology, so that's
Right.
where
Oh,
this
yeah.
comes from.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Right.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
A little bit of psychological warfare sometimes.
Yes.
Never hurt anybody.
No. Yes. Yes. In the short term, never hurt
Yeah.
anybody.
Right? So like that's where it all comes down to.
Right.
You know, I actually started doing that by doing like a passive squat, just like the third world squat or whatever you want to call it, right? Depending on who's okay with that terminology. And I would sit down in a squat, and I would, like, when I was stressed,
Mm-hmm.
like I used to go to the back room where the towels were at the Y, and I would squat. I would just squat.
Just in that.
Yeah, when I was like
Dungeon
ready,
type
when I was
room,
ready to
probably.
like lose it, I would go back there and I would squat because all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I'm focusing on my ankle, I'm focusing on my knee, I'm focusing on my back and all that stuff, and I'm not focusing on what just threw me over the edge or was about to throw me over the edge.
Man, I wondered why you'd always walk back there and then not walk back with anything.
I spent a lot of time back there.
But I was like, oh, what's up, man? You just go, okay, cool.
Yeah.
What the fuck is he doing?
So that's it. That's it. Yeah, man. It's all about awareness.
All about awareness.
All
eh?
about awareness.
I'm really hoping and really looking forward because I know now that we said it, we're both like this. We are going to do a walk barefoot.
Yeah.
And I know we're also going to do Turkish get-ups.
And you're gonna take the same amount of intention and awareness
Yeah.
into your Turkish get-up as you do with the walk.
You believe that's going to carry over?
100%.
Yeah. Okay. And how often do you recommend people do this? Or like, when's the best time specifically? We'll go with that.
For what?
For
The Turkish get-up or the walk?
the walk. Sure.
Do it every day. You should walk every day.
Barefoot.
You should walk every day. Let's start with that. Because
Okay.
most people don't walk every day. Have you ever heard of the term active sedentary?
Not recently, no.
Do you have an office job?
I did.
Okay. So 8 hours a day, 9 hours a day we spend in our office. Then we
Right.
spend, upwards of 2 hours in our car commuting. We go to the gym, we do our workout. Again, 24 hours in a day. 1 hour spent exercising, 8 is spent at your desk,
Yeah.
2 spent in your car, 3 spent on your couch watching your TV.
Half the day is spent sitting. At least.
More than half. Way more than half. Right? So instead of thinking about exercise in terms of these blocks of time that you need to do exercise, think about movement throughout your day. Right? Like stand up from your desk,
Yeah.
right? And just do a nice back bend, reach for your
Yeah.
toes, do a couple of hip circles, like get movement into it's your movement. So there's this great biomechanist, her name's Katie Bowman. She wrote a book called Move Your DNA. If you haven't read it, you're missing out on life. All right? So
You said move your DNA?
Move Your DNA, Katie Bowman.
Yeah.
She's a biomechanist. She specializes in barefoot education and also like pelvic floor stuff, which I'm really getting into right now. Not in a creepy way, just like,
Didn't think you would.
it's okay. I just wanted to
I might have with the comment of the mic at the beginning of the show, but other than that,
This
make it
thing?
happen. Yeah.
It's an awkward shape, I'm not gonna lie.
Carry on, my friend.
So, anyways, she talks about like a movement diet. Her program's called Nutritious Movement. So like,
Interesting.
so it's like, okay, you eat a kale salad for 1 hour a day, but you eat McDonald's the rest of the day. It's like that's your 1 hour in the gym, and the rest
cool.
is, you know what I mean? So you got to
Yeah.
look at it in terms of like macro and micronutrients, but like movement is those food groups. You know what I mean? It's like, how much time are you moving your hips? How much time are you moving your shoulders? How much time are you actually walking? How much time are you loading? How much time are you sitting?
Mhm.
Are you sitting in different positions? Are you standing in the same position? Even standing desks aren't that great. If you stand
I agree.
at a standing desk,
Yeah.
right, and you don't move for 8 hours, that's no better than sitting,
Right.
right?
It's just sitting in a different position.
So she talks about how everything, movement is in our DNA to the cellular level. We are meant to move, and our body moves. So if you don't move it, you're quite literally going to lose it, right? Like, you won't have the capacity to move anymore.
Move it or lose it.
Move it or lose it.
To the most
It's pretty simple. That's a
cellular
very
detail.
yeah. Because your cells, even if you're sitting here, we're
They're
still moving.
Yeah.
Like you are.
Man, yeah.
Right? So,
Cool.
even the idea she sleeps on a hard surface, because then she moves, she's forced to move throughout the night even though she's sleeping,
Mm-hmm.
right? Think about like hunter-gatherers, right? Like,
Right.
they didn't have cushy friggin' pillow top mattresses,
No.
right? So, that's kind of like
Cool.
the idea, is like how to incorporate it more throughout your day.
Man, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Imagine going, or when we go, you're just going through the mall and you're barefoot.
Well, I mean,
Or going
yeah.
going
This
on
is
a walk. You're gonna
but this
see-
is the
see
problem,
people.
is that we have concrete now,
Yeah.
which sucks. And
Yeah, I see what you mean.
and we have rules that I can't go into a grocery store barefoot. Maybe some places I can, but generally I can't.
Right.
So like,
Sucks,
then it's just like, then it's like, okay, what's on your feet? Are you wearing casts on your feet?
Mhm.
Okay, like, you know, the standard 12 mil drop running shoe,
yeah.
which is no better than a high heel,
Right.
right? Or are you wearing barefoot style shoes? And that's not to say just transition right into it, because you got to be careful doing that because of the way we've been developed. And this is the thing, is that you got to take it with it, like, step by step. You can't just like flip right away and do something.
Mhm.
You got to transition, because we've transitioned our bodies over our life,
Right.
right.
To adapt.
yeah,
To
to
the
sedentary
environment.
lifestyles.
Yeah.
There's a good way to put it. I forget who it was. Somebody said something about ergonomics. You know what ergonomics is?
You got it, but you said it to me at the Y. I'm remembering this conversation, dude. I swear. You're like, it's like what is it? A lazy, efficient way to be lazy. Something along like.
It's teaching you the optimal way to be still,
What was that?
right?
Yeah.
So it's like, how's that a good thing?
Okay. Right. Yeah,
It's like,
I remember.
it's like,
this.
yeah, okay, you break a bone and you need a cast. Yeah, you need a cast for
This
that
is the
certain
optimal way to be
that
still.
certain time frame for the
Yeah.
bone to heal. You need that cast, but as soon as you're out of it, you don't stay like this.
Not at all. Oh fuck, man. The only time I broke my arm, I needed it to be rehabbed 6 months after it was out because I just broke the cast and I was like, I need to move this.
Yeah,
That's just me being silly.
yeah,
when I
that's
was
you
young,
being
but-
stupid.
Yeah,
but
but
listen to your doctor.
Yeah, I probably should have.
Yeah.
It is what it is. Ain't what it was, you know.
Right, so like that's kind of,
Yeah.
again, like Katie Bowman's just one example of all the people I follow, that you know, I either learn through their online stuff, or you know, sometimes I meet up with them in like courses if they come to Canada and whatnot. But yeah, that's it. You just got to move. If you don't move, you're just killing yourself faster, right?
Don't move.
Like,
You're
it's
just killing yourself faster.
You could be.
Well,
Right? And like this is just such a broad perspective of it,
yeah.
because like we're not even getting into the research as to like
Yeah.
the benefits of preventing disease. Like that should, like that, you don't even need to worry about that,
Hmm.
because like just focus on moving, the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah.
Like I shouldn't need to bring out a whole bunch of stats to be like, well, your chances of, you know, like,
Right.
you know, cardiac disease or whatever is X amount higher if you don't do this. Or it's just like who cares? Stop trying to scare people into doing things and just like get them to do things.
Yeah.
If they want to know more, then be prepared for that. But if they need to move better,
Right. It's not forcing the
just get
research
them
down their
and
throat.
find it, like, make it fun. If you're not enjoying it, then you're not doing it. Like, think about the mental stress that
Mhm.
comes from it.
Yeah, and a lot of people. Well, with that, then why do you find people are afraid to exercise. Like, they don't want to. A lot of people don't. They don't want to move. They would rather just lie down, sit down.
Well, there's a few different reasons for that. Depends on why they're afraid. Like, why are they afraid? Is it because it's intimidating? Because the fitness industry is shallow, and you're going to go to the gym.
Honestly, yeah, I think that's it.
You're going to see some bro with his hoodie on and his short shorts and his chucks, and he's taking like mirror selfies. At the same time, you're going to see the girl in the sports bra with the ripped abs and all that stuff taking selfies. Just like those people. Again, sure, if that's what you want to do. Like, those people are scaring other people who really need it away.
Right.
Not that that's their intention. I'm not saying that's their intention.
No.
But you got to find a comfortable atmosphere.
Right, and they're unaware.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is where Human 2.0 comes in.
Well,
There's a comfortable atmosphere.
It could. I make it pretty uncomfortable sometimes. But that's
yeah. He's probably disappointed in you. I read that and I was like, he's probably disappointed in me right now.
I got high standards for my clients.
And like, that's what it should be, though.
If you're not doing this for the right reason and you're just going through the motions, everyone's wasting their own time.
Right. Like, I'm wasting yours, you're wasting mine. If we're not.
Yeah.
If I don't care, why?
And maybe it's a personality thing.
Right.
Not everybody likes my style of coaching.
Right.
I'm going to tell you like it is.
If can't handle tough love.
If something, like, if I tell you, the best example is whenever I tell people, it's just like, do a 90-90 drill, right, for your hips. Standard, like, stretch out there that's really good for internal, external rotation of your hips, which we're lacking. And a lot of people, whenever they get into it, will do like an active thing for it, right? And they'll cramp immediately in their back glute on this 90-90 position, okay? And they'll fall out of it. They'll probably start laughing and be like, oh my God, that sucks so much or whatever. And I'll just tell them, it's like cramping is a sign of weakness. Because it is. Yeah. Because your body's not used to being there, so it's not strong in that position, so it's freaking out. Yeah, right? It's just like, if you don't want to hear that, don't get trained by me. Yeah. Like, it's just true.
Don't get trained by me. Yeah. Right. And I'm in for it when I'm like, and when you said it, when I asked, I'm like, yo, can you teach me to do a Turkish scab? You're like, you have it. And me knowing full well how you're gonna, like he's gonna pick it apart. Yeah. He's gonna rip it apart and smash it.
If you can't do something that's supposed to be easy, I'm gonna tell you it's supposed to be easy. Doesn't mean I'm not gonna help you get there.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, this is supposed to be
that
easy.
probably clouds that.
Yes.
100%.
And hey, I'm always adapting my coaching style.
Right.
I also like to have fun when I coach. Right. So if people aren't having fun, then,
why are you doing it?
Yeah. You know, if you don't enjoy it, you're only adding stress. And you, like, if you're depressed but you still exercise, are you really healthy?
No.
Right?
Right, just enjoy it.
That's not a knock on like mental health, because that's a huge thing nowadays, but it's like, you know, you gotta enjoy what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If you're not satisfied with where you're at,
fix it.
Jocko Willing. Discipline equals freedom. Extreme ownership.
3:45 every morning.
Dude, it's 4:30. Isn't it 4:30?
Dude, it's probably 2:45. Like, his Instagram, it's like, it's only his watch, dude.
Maybe he just, like,
I bro out with people about this all the time.
Maybe he just has like 5 stock photos.
I think you're right.
No, he doesn't.
There's no way he does.
No,
you know
not a chance. Not a chance.
Such a dope dude.
Yeah, man. So like, that's kind of like it. I mean, if you and I were to do this again tomorrow, I'm going to explain all of this in a different way.
100%.
That's the thing. That's the other thing. Is that, like, it's hopefully not going to contradict itself.
Right.
But it's going to come out a different way, because I'm always thinking about different ways to, like, relate it. Mm-hmm. Right?
Right.
So you can't expect this. I don't have a speech. I don't have a script on this stuff.
Nothing here.
Right? Well, I'm not even just talking about here, but like just in general.
Yeah, in general, right.
Like,
there's no speech you bring or no...
Whenever I'm talking to new clients or whatever, it's just like I don't have a go-to script.
Right, you don't have your promo written on your wrist or anything.
Yeah. Yeah. You know? Because there's not one way of doing things.
No.
Right?
Right.
So, yeah.
Cool, dude.
That's it.
Sweet. Move it or lose it.
Move it or lose it.
Move it or lose it, brother. Hey, I appreciate your time, man. I really do.
You're welcome, sir.
Appreciate the mug.
Mug?
I'm looking forward to this. This is my first gift I've gotten.
Wow.
You know? I'm looking forward to it.
People aren't giving
22
me
episodes
gifts.
in, and
Yeah, don't interview them again unless they give you a gift.
yeah.